See, as an entrepreneur, there are some things that you will learn the hard way. And one of the things I've had to personally learn is the fact that not everybody is your customer. And that's perfectly okay. Sometimes we assume we are the problem. You might not be the problem. The other person might be the problem. An example is the fact that some people cannot afford your price. And those same people will gaslight you into thinking you are the problem and that your price is too high. Sometimes it's just the mere fact that that person cannot afford your price. The fact that somebody cannot afford your price doesn't automatically mean that your price is too high. Don't let somebody else's problem be your own problem. Now, I'm not saying you should overvalue yourself or you should overcharge. What I'm saying is that if you know your value and you know the worth of your value, charge for it. If somebody's pocket cannot afford to pay that price, that's the person's problem. If out of your graciousness you decide to discount and reduce it to the person's budget, then that's good. But don't feel bad. I don't feel terrible because somebody else cannot afford to pay your price. That's the other person's problem. That is their own financial problem. That is not your own problem. So don't let them gaslight you. Don't let them guilt trip you into thinking you are the one that is doing too much. Sometimes they are the ones not doing enough. And this is why I said not everybody is your customer. Because even if you reduce your price by half, some people will still complain. Some people will still not be able to afford it. Now, this is where creatives have challenges because creatives spend their time busy trying to sell to people who cannot afford their service. So, creatives keep selling to people who don't have the financial power to purchase their service. There are two ways to know if somebody is the right customer from your business. Number one, they value your service. They see the value you are bringing in. They see the value in what you do. They value your service. And number two, they can afford to pay for that value. That is a checklist to know if this person is the right audience. First of all, this thing that you do, do they value it? Do they see it as important? Is it a big deal to them? And two, do they have the money? Because if they are only one of the two, there's a problem. If they can afford to pay you, but they don't see the value in what you bring, then they won't pay you your price, even though they can afford to pay you. The fact that they can afford to pay you does not equal them being willing to pay you. Affordability is not equal to willingness to pay. They are only willing to pay your price if they see your value and if they can afford to pay you for that value. But if they see your value and they can't afford to pay you for the value, they are still not your customer because all they can be is a fan. They support you publicly, but they will never patronize you because they can't afford to pay you. There are several people who see the value of a Rolls Royce but can't afford to buy a Rolls Royce. And there are some people who don't see the value of a Rolls Royce but they can afford to pay for a Rolls Royce, but they will not pay that money for it because they don't see the value in it. So that is the checklist. One, they see the value in what you're doing. Two, they are willing to pay for that value. That is what makes this person your customer. And this is why you have to be very picky about who you pick as a customer because you have a finite energy and you have a finite time. In other words, you have a limited energy and time. So if you spend all your time working with the wrong set of customers, you'll be too busy with a lot on your hand and you'll be too stressed out to take up gigs from the right customers. When the right customers show up, you're too tired, you're too frustrated, you don't have the creativity anymore, you don't have the energy, and you will deliver a terrible service even to the right customer because the wrong customer has frustrated you. Because you have limited time and energy, you have to maintain it, you have to guard it, you have to preserve it jealously. So what's the point of all this rambling? I'm saying there are some people who are called the best type of customers for you. Zero in on them. One, they have to value what you do. Two, they need to have the ability to pay for that value. Again, I'm not saying sell to rich people. Not all rich people are your target audience or not all rich people value what you do. Sell to those who value what you do. If the person is rich, can afford to pay you, and also value what you do, good. But the person is rich, can afford to pay, but don't value what you do, run. In conclusion, preserve your energy. Stop stressing yourself trying to sell to everybody. No. Focus on those who value you and can afford to pay you.